One of the first things I learned when I was little is forgiving people. My dad taught me forgiveness, and my dad died over 60 years, almost 60 something years ago. I know, but I saw a video yesterday from Heidi. I can't even think of what she calls her podcast, but she said something about the power of forgiveness. And forgiveness is so transformative, but it's not forgiveness for other people. You're not letting them off the hook. Forgiveness is releasing the energy so that you can move on. You know, I did this thing when I was little. I must have been 4 or 5. My father died when I was 6, but I remember it like it was yesterday. And my neighbor was a few years older than me, and I had this squirt gun, this little squirt gun, and we were playing, and we had this little neighbor boy who lived next door to me, and she said, "Jody, why don't you give him one of those little," it had these little pellets that you put in it, and you would squirt it, and all these bubbles would come out. Well, you know, I was gullible. I was just as guilty as she was, but anyway, I thought that was so funny. So we told him it was candy, and we gave it to him. Well, sure enough, bubbles came out his mouth, and, it was horrible. And I remember all the neighbors were gathered in the yard, and we ran up in her house. I lived here, then he lived in the middle of us, and then she lived here. Well, the neighbors were gathering like in the street. All the parents. And he was in the middle circle, and bubbles were coming up. And I was terrified, and we ran in the house, and we ran upstairs to her bedroom, and I was scared. And I said, "Where am I going to hide? Where am I going to hide?" And I climbed under the bed. And pretty soon I heard my dad coming up the stairs saying, "Where is Jody Lee? I know she's here. I know she's here, and I know she's going to come out because I know she did this, and she needs to apologize to this young man because I am so disappointed." Well, I thought my heart would break. I remember that day as if it were yesterday. And he said, "Where's that Jody Lee?" And I said, "She's not here." Well, that walk from their house to my house seemed like it was 100 miles. But the thing about that walk was my father said, "Okay, you're going to apologize first. You're going to go over there and you're going to tell him how very sorry you are that you did this to him and that you will never do such a mean-spirited thing again to anyone." My dad was a really smart man, and he was everyone's hero. But I remember apologizing to Carl, and when I was done, I was scared. I thought I was going to be dead. Well, my dad then said, "I forgive you, Jody Lee, and you need to forgive yourself because you went and apologized." And he said, "That doesn't mean that you aren't in trouble, because you are." But he said, "You need to forgive yourself because you feel bad, and you need to remember how bad you feel and never hurt someone like that again." And you know what? I didn't do mean things. I'm sure I did, okay, but I don't like mean-spiritedness. I don't like people being unkind and I know that when we don't forgive people, it's us we hurt. I have a neighbor who has not let go of something that she perceives I did about 4 years ago, and I've apologized all over myself. And I don't think I did anything, but even that being said, I've apologized and apologized. She's much younger than me, but she carries that around like it's some prized possession. Well, the truth of the matter is, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't hurt me because I know I've apologized as much as I can. And I've forgiven myself a long time ago for whatever it was or was not. And the only person she's hurting is herself and her children. Because carrying that resentment and that anger keeps you stuck. It keeps you stuck and in negativity, and it just brings more of that to your life. And I think that that is so sad. And I wanted to say that anybody out there, if you're holding on to any resentment or not forgiving somebody, forgive them right now. Forgive yourself first. You need to look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you're good enough, and forgive yourself for anything you've done. Because you know what? You did the best you could. You did what you did. It's over. It was in the past. I went to prison. That's been a long time ago. And I don't brag about it, and I don't tell a lot of people about it. But I forgave myself a long time ago because I did what I did when I did it. And I did my time. And I learned a lot from that. And I'm grateful I went because I genuinely learned a lot. My heart changed because of that experience. And I met some amazing women who changed my heart, who opened my heart, who showed me what it really means to be free. And I'm grateful for that, and I will never, ever deny that I went to prison. I'm not proud of the reason I went to prison, and I don't ever want to go back, but I'm glad I went. Because that's where I needed to be. That's where God wanted me to be so that I could get what I needed to get so that I didn't have to do the things I was doing. And I'm grateful I went. So anyway, I'm going to quit talking and just tell you, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself first and forgive anybody else in your life that you feel has wronged you. You know what? Life is too short. And one day you wake up and they're not there. Or something happens and you can't forgive them. And lost regrets. I mean, I'm just so grateful I had parents who taught me the value of forgiving others and forgiving myself. I remember my dad saying, you can't go to kindergarten unless you know how to forgive somebody. And that means you need to learn to forgive yourself. I'll never forget that he taught me how to forgive myself. And it was an invaluable lesson because I wasn't a mean-spirited kid. I mean, I'm sure I did mean shit. We all do. But my dad was pretty smart. And my mom was too, because if I got in an argument in high school or junior high, no matter what it was, my mom would say, what? You're having a disagreement. Well, what's it about? And I would... No matter what I would say, she would say, okay, come on, you're going over there. You're going to talk to her right now. Didn't matter what it was about. She didn't want to know what it was about. She didn't allow gossip with me. She said, you go over there right now, and I want you to talk about it with her, and I want you to apologize. And I would say, but Mom, I didn't do anything. She said, I don't care who did what. She said, forget about the who did what. Apologize. She's been your friend for how many years now? Swallow your pride. Apologize. Tell her you love her. And forget it and move on, because life is too short and friendship will last for years. I still have friends from that time. They are still my girlfriends. And I'm so grateful for that. So anyway, I'll be back. I just thought I needed to post something because I haven't for a couple weeks. And the value of forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Tell yourself you love yourself every single time you see a mirror. That will change your life. And forgive yourself. And if you know somebody who's not forgiving themselves or forgiving someone else, tell them how important it is to forgive people. It's not letting them off the hook, but it's keeping you stuck. Okay, peace out. Have a good day.